In the realm of UFO enthusiasts and those intrigued by the extraterrestrial, few names stand out as much as Bob Lazar. This unassuming figure burst onto the public scene in the late 1980s, presenting a narrative that would challenge the general consensus on UFOs and spark countless debates.
Flying saucers, flying discs.
Bob Lazar wasn't always synonymous with UFO lore. In fact, by profession, he was a physicist. According to his own account, he was hired to work in a secret section of Area 51, the United States' most infamous and secretive military base. The facility, named S4, supposedly housed projects that were not just top secret, but also otherworldly. The essence of Lazar's story revolves around his claims that he was recruited to work on a project involving the reverse engineering of alien technology. He described a scenario where human scientists, like himself, were attempting to understand and replicate the advanced technological marvels that were purportedly recovered from extraterrestrial visitors. This wasn't just about stealth aircraft or advanced weaponry. This was technology from the stars. Bob Lazar's revelation was more than just a personal account. It was a challenge to the US government's stance on UFOs. It was a direct claim that they not only knew about these visitors, but had tangible physical proof of their existence. To some, Lazar became a hero, a whistleblower lifting the veil on one of the biggest cover-ups in human history. To others, he was seen as a hoaxer, weaving an intricate tale for attention or perhaps other motivations. Over the years, his credibility has been both supported and attacked, with factors such as his alleged educational background and employment history becoming points of contention. However, whether one believes in the veracity of his story or not, Bob Lazar's impact on the world of UFO research and popular culture is undeniable. He opened a Pandora's box of questions, many of which remain unanswered to this day. One of the most compelling parts of Bob Lazar's story revolves around his description of a fleet of 9 flying saucers. These weren't just models or simulations. Lazar claimed that these were actual extraterrestrial craft stored at the S4 facility near Area 51. Each of these saucers, according to Lazar, had its own unique design and size, suggesting either different alien civilizations or various models from one advanced extraterrestrial race. The craft were not just for observation either. Lazar stated that he was given limited access to one particular craft, which he codenamed Sport Model. This saucer was sleek and smooth, shaped like a classic UFO, and had an interior that appeared both organic and biomechanical. Inside the Sport Model, Lazar described the absence of any traditional human-designed controls like buttons, switches, or levers. Instead, the craft was operated by a series of molded seats and panels that seemed to respond directly to touch and intention. Everything about its build suggested that it wasn't constructed for human physiology. The absence of right angles, the seamless nature of its construction, and the smooth metallic surfaces all hinted at an engineering knowledge far surpassing our current understanding. More intriguingly, Lazar claimed that these craft utilized a propulsion system that was not just advanced, but entirely alien to our current scientific understanding. He talked of a power source referred to as Element 115, which was used to generate gravity waves, allowing the saucers to essentially fall in the direction they wanted to travel. This method of propulsion, if true, would revolutionize our understanding of physics and space travel. But where did these craft come from? Lazar didn't claim to know their exact origins, but he did suggest they were part of a long-standing back-engineering project by the US government, the aim to decipher the technology for potential military and scientific applications. Throughout his many interviews, the consistent nature of Bob's descriptions about these 9 mysterious crafts has been a cornerstone for many of his believers. It either lends credibility to his tale or showcases a deeply intricate and unwavering commitment to his narrative. Regardless of where one stands on the spectrum of belief, the story of the 9 saucers is undoubtedly one of the most fascinating pieces of UFO lore in the modern era. Bob Lazar's tales from his alleged time at the S4 facility delve into more than just descriptions of physical craft. They provide a glimpse into technology that, by his account, defies our current scientific understanding. One of the core tenets of Lazar's revelations is that the propulsion systems of these extraterrestrial craft operated on principles that we have yet to fully grasp in terrestrial science. He frequently spoke of Element 115, which at the time of his initial disclosures had not been synthesized or identified in the periodic table. This element, according to Lazar, served as the fuel for the spacecraft. It's not merely about using it as a source of energy, but it's the manner in which it supposedly manipulated gravity that stands out. The crafts didn't just fly in our conventional sense, they generated their own gravitational fields, allowing them to warp and bend space-time. This mode of travel would mean that rather than moving through space, space itself would move around the craft. But how can one even begin to control gravity, a force we're only beginning to understand? Lazar described devices within the craft known as gravity amplifiers. These, combined with the use of element 115, were said to produce a gravitational wave focused by 3 distinct cylindrical structures underneath the craft. The implication here is significant. Mastering gravity would open up possibilities not only for space travel, but also for how we understand the very fabric of the universe. Furthermore, the craft's interiors, as per Lazar's account, were just as enigmatic. Without conventional controls or recognizable interfaces, it's postulated that the craft might have had a direct connection with its pilot, suggesting a biomechanical or even telepathic mode of operation. The cockpit of the sport model craft he detailed was devoid of sharp angles, and everything seemed to be molded from a singular seamless material. This design approach raises questions about the manufacturing techniques of these supposed extraterrestrial civilizations. How can a civilization craft object without seams, joints, or evident assembly lines? The truly intriguing aspect of Lazar's claim was that, at the time he made it, element 115 did not exist on the periodic table. It was a supposed material with properties that sounded straight out of a science fiction novel. Skeptics quickly seized upon this, using it as fodder to debunk Lazar's tales. However, in a twist of scientific advancement, the element was synthesized in labs in 2003 and added to the periodic table, known as moscovium. However, it's crucial to point out a significant difference between Lazar's claims and the scientifically synthesized version of the element. The element 115 produced in laboratories is highly unstable, decaying rapidly, and not showing any of the marvelous gravitational properties described by Lazar. Lazar anticipated this discrepancy, asserting that the stable form of element 115, the one with the unique properties he described, was likely found in regions of the universe with different star production mechanisms than our own. Bob Lazar's discussions on element 115 serve as a linchpin to his broader narrative. While the scientific community's version doesn't directly validate his claims, its very existence provides a tantalizing hint that there's still much about the universe we don't understand. Whether you view Lazar as a whistleblower or a fabricator, discussions surrounding element 115 demonstrate the fascinating interplay between fringe claims and mainstream science. As the years have passed, debates have raged over the validity of Lazar's claims. Yet, his consistent and detailed accounts of technology beyond our understanding continue to fuel discussions in both scientific and UFO enthusiast circles. Whether one views him as a whistleblower or a storyteller, the tales he has spun serve as a captivating exploration of what might be possible beyond the limits of our current knowledge. In the dynamic world of UFO stories, testimonies, and whistleblowers, it's not uncommon for accounts to evolve, get embellished, or even get retracted as the years roll by. Yet there stands Bob Lazar, a singular figure whose story has remained consistent since it first broke into the public consciousness in the late 1980s. What adds weight to Lazar's claims isn't just the detail in his revelations, but the unyielding consistency with which he's presented them, irrespective of the audience or the format, be it radio interviews, documentaries, or casual conversations. From the moment Lazar came forward with his astonishing claims about extraterrestrial technology at Area 51's S4 site, skepticism surrounded his narrative. Critics and debunkers came out in droves, armed with a myriad of reasons to dismiss Lazar's claims. They cited a lack of concrete evidence, questioned his educational and professional background, and often painted him as a fabricator seeking fame or financial gain. However, in the face of such overwhelming scrutiny, where many would falter or revise their statements, Lazar's central narrative about the alien crafts, their propulsion systems, and the secret workings of S4 have stayed the same. Time, as they say, is the best judge. Over the 3 decades since Lazar's claims were made, certain aspects of his story have received unintentional validation. The existence of element 115, once a crucial but fantastical part of his tale, became a reality when scientists officially added it to the periodic table in 2003. While our synthesized version of the element differs from Lazar's descriptions and its stability is fleeting, its very discovery gives pause to even the most ardent skeptics. Lastly, it's worth noting the personal cost to Lazar. Coming forward with such a narrative, true or not, puts one in the crosshairs of public opinion and often personal and professional alienation. Lazar has expressed on numerous occasions his regret about coming forward and the impact it had on his personal life. If his objective was fame or financial gain, one would expect him to double down, to produce more claims, to keep himself in the spotlight. Yet Lazar did the opposite. He receded from the limelight, rarely giving interviews, and maintained his initial tale. This behavior contrasts sharply with those who spin stories for personal gain. It begs the question, why would someone maintain a hoax for over 3 decades, especially when the personal toll is so high? And as always, thanks for watching.